Today we're going to talk about some basic scaffold safety. Now, this talk has specifically to do with fall protection rules for scaffolding that come from OSHA. If you're working on top of a scaffold, that presents some potential hazards, including falling to a lower level. So in today's toolbox talk, we're going to concentrate on understanding a few of the major requirements for the use of guardrails and fall protection systems when we work on different types of scaffolding. Some of this is the kind of scaffolding we don't actually use a lot or perhaps ever, but this is general information. We're going to include it as part of the discussion. So OSHA requires that each employee that's working on a scaffold platform that's located more than 10 feet above a lower level shall be protected from falls by guardrails or a fall arrest system, except those that are on single point and 2-point adjustable suspension scaffolds. Now, each employee that's on a single point and a 2-point adjustable suspended scaffold has to be protected by both a personal fall arrest system and a guardrail. Each employee, for example, that's on a bosun's chair, a catenary scaffold, a float scaffold, a needle beam scaffold, or a ladder jack scaffold, has to be protected by a personal fall arrest system. And each employee on a self-contained adjustable scaffold shall be protected by a guardrail system when the platform is supported by the frame structure and by both a personal fall arrest system and a guardrail when the platform is supported by ropes. We don't use a lot of those scaffolds, but that's general information. When guardrail systems are being used, then they have to be installed along all open sides and ends of platforms. No guardrails required on a side or edge of any work platform that's no more than 14 inches from the face of the work for most operations, and no more than 18 inches for plastering and lathing operations. So if those distances are greater, then there has to be fall protection provided. Now, the height of the top rail for scaffolds must be between 38 and 45 inches above the work platform. The mid rail shall be installed at a height that's approximately midway between the top edge of the guardrail system and the platform surface. Now, when the cross point of the cross bracing, also something we call X bracing, is between 38 and 48 inches above the work platform, you can use it as the top rail of a guardrail system so long as the end connections are no more than 48 inches apart vertically. Now then, when the cross point of cross bracing falls between 20 and 30 inches above the work platform, you can use it as the mid rail of a guardrail system as long as the end connections are, once again, no more than 48 inches apart vertically. Now, when vertical lifelines are involved, they need to be fastened to a fixed safe point of anchorage. They have to be independent of the scaffold, and they shall be protected from sharp edges and abrasions. Safe points of anchorage include structural members of buildings. They don't include standpipes, vents, other piping systems, electrical conduit, outrigger beams, or counterweights. Vertical lifelines, independent support lines, and suspension ropes cannot be attached to each other, nor can they be attached to or use the same point of anchorage. And they can't be attached to the same point on the scaffold or personal fall arrest system. So you need to have them independently anchored away from each other or in different locations, not to each other in any way. Now, when you're using horizontal lifelines, they have to be secured to 2 or more structural members of the scaffold, or they may be looped around both suspension and independent suspension lines that are on scaffolds that are equipped that way, above the hoist and brake attached to the end of the scaffold. So horizontal lifelines cannot be attached to the suspension rope, say, for example, on a swing stage suspended rope type scaffold. So if you're ever in any doubt about when or how to prevent falling from a scaffold platform, certainly your competent person should have that information or be able to know where to find it. If you have any questions about that, let me know. We can talk about that. We can look up the information if I can't immediately give it to you. So this is something that we want to address because from time to time we are using scaffolds and we want to use them safely, especially in this matter of fall protection.